All right, it is 1:30. I want to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. Welcome to our third Office of Rural Prosperity 2020 virtual meeting. This is our first statewide meeting. Today we are not focusing on a specific region like we have the last two meetings and what we're planning on doing in the next few weeks, but we are going to focus on a broader overview and the state as a whole. We have lots of people joining us today, a lot of different stakeholders from different areas, and so from community and health foundations, universities, advocacy groups, state agencies, and an array of decision makers and leaders who really care about our state. And so thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jillian Fisher. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of Office of Rural Prosperity, or ORP, that you may hear be referred to today. I'm excited and thank you so much for spending your afternoon and your Saturday with us and taking the time to learn about ORP's work and our statewide priorities. Before we get too far, I want to talk about some housekeeping items. Attendees who need a Spanish interpreter, at the bottom of your screen in a toolbar, there should be a little globe that is for an interpretation button to your right, and we will get you connected to Isabel. Additionally, for those who need captioning, you can click the CC button at the bottom and you can choose next to the globe, and you can choose whether you want a live transcript of the meeting or if you want to kind of scroll down at the bottom like you normally see maybe on a TV screen. And Jane will be transcripting the meeting for us. Left of the CC or an interpretation button on the bottom next to the toolbar, you should see a chat and a Q&A button. I encourage you to use these throughout the meeting, especially the Q&A button. There will be questions and answer period throughout the meeting, but feel free to pose your questions as you think of them, and we can kind of go back and make sure they're addressed. Please be mindful of your questions. Make sure they are constructive, making sure that they're focused on the conversation. We will be recording and live streaming this meeting on Facebook. Do this for a few reasons. Those who did not get a chance to register, those who are calling in, those who aren't available during this time, they can go back and watch this video and still view the presentation. The recording, the PowerPoint, and some of a packet with the links and contact information will be available on the ORP website at the probably sometime either this afternoon or later this weekend. And with that, if you go to orp.ks.gov and you go to the ORP 2020 tour section, you should be able to find all of those materials there. Today, you will hear from Lieutenant Governor Lynn Rogers, who is leading the Office of Rural Prosperity's work. He will provide an overview of our work and our priorities and review the results of the 2019 tour, as well as give us the purpose of this meeting and kind of moving forward. We will then hear from Melissa Rooker, the Executive Director of the Kansas Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund, who will talk about child care and early education. You'll hear from Ryan Vincent, the Executive Director of the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation, who will talk about housing and the importance of housing in rural areas. Kayla Savage with the Kansas Department of Commerce and their projects in the Community Development Division. And then Joshua McGinn, who is Office of Rural Prosperity's Policy Analyst, and he'll talk about signature policy issues that impact rural Kansas. And today, a little different than regional meetings, we'll feature two special guests after the core presentation, Rich Phelps with the Kansas Farm Bureau and Governor Laura Kelly, who will join us to say a few words and be available to answer a few questions. After all that, we will have a full meeting this afternoon. Lieutenant Governor will finish us off. And so let's go and get started. Lieutenant Governor.
Well, thank you, Jillian, and hello, everyone. I appreciate you joining me for the third 2020 ORP virtual meeting. As one of Governor Kelly's first priorities, she established the Office of ORP to advocate and promote rural Kansas, to ensure all Kansans have their voice represented in the State House, and that we focus on efforts designed to make improvements to the state. The Office of Rural Prosperity is designed to listen and engage rural Kansans to identify challenges and successes in those communities and then connect them to experts and other stakeholders that may be able to address the identified challenges and opportunities for success. As the listening arm for rural Kansas, it was important that we hit the road early in our administration and hold a listening tour in the summer of 2019. We traveled over 4,700 miles to every region of the state, visiting 44 different towns and 23 counties in a 2-month time period. But I didn't just stop and take a photo and leave. I visited and had in-depth conversations about rural issues at 16 different manufacturers, 12 farms and agricultural businesses, 9 hospitals and healthcare facilities, and held over 130 meetings and events. These other events and tours ranged from issue-specific roundtables on topics like rural banking and quality of life to visiting small, family-owned and operated businesses on Main Street, as well as plenty of restaurants and diners. Over this tour, I met and listened to over 1,000 Kansans from towns separated by distance from Troy in northeast Kansas to Ulysses in the southwest. These communities ranged in size from cities like Hutchinson with over 40,000 residents and towns as small as Liberty with under 200 Kansans. All these communities were part of the rich tapestry that makes rural Kansas a great place to live. These discussions established the foundation for the Office of Rural Prosperity and our priorities for the coming term, things that we'll be focusing on as we move forward. While every region is different and we are mindful that our approach cannot be a one-size-fits-all, the most consistent theme at every stop was that all Kansans want to live where there are good jobs, where they can raise a family, and where there is a high quality of life. We need to acknowledge that there are a lot of things needed to make this a reality in all places of Kansas, but our office will continue to listen, connect, and adapt to the state's challenges by working with local communities. While our work is focused on rural, I hope everyone listening this afternoon, no matter where you live, knows that our entire state is interconnected. I often say when rural succeeds, Kansas succeeds. And that's not just my belief, but a fact. For example, research from Wichita State University shows a statistical relationship for the state's economy between rural and urban communities. A 1% increase in wages in rural communities increases taxable retail sales in urban communities by almost 0.5%. That means that income from ag, renewable energy, oil, and other rural businesses directly benefit Kansas City, Wichita, Topeka, and our other more urban communities. We must always look at the entire map of Kansas and ORP and our administration to make sure that we're working to create solutions to benefit all Kansans, no matter what their zip code might be. The voices, thoughts, and concerns of rural Kansas across the state during the 2019 listening tour were instrumental in building the blueprint for ORP and our priorities. Having gone out and listened to voices of rural Kansas, we sat down and planned out our next steps. The first step was to expand capacity to focus on ongoing direct conversations with Kansas about their needs and turning that feedback into tangible action within the state. Jillian and Josh were recruited this winter to coordinate those efforts, with Jillian focusing on stakeholder relationships and coordination, program collaboration, and Josh bringing issues to the legislature and lead agencies. Expanding capacity also included the ORP supporting the restoration of the Community Development Division within the Department of Commerce. I'll let Kayla go into details about the program, but this division realigns existing resources, enhances technical assistance provided to rural communities, and expands on successful programs of rural neighborhoods. It was time for us to reestablish Main Street at the center of our communities and focus support on rural Kansas. Governor Kelly challenged state agencies to look at key issues from a rural angle and ensure that rural issues are a priority for all parts of government, and to work with Jillian and Josh in connecting practical programs and resources to rural Kansas, and making sure that those processes are less intimidating. This year, we launched an interagency work group that is led by KHRC and are working to build off the Children's Cabinet existing work around childcare and early education with a rural focus. And we'll continue to work with other state agencies around workforce and recruitment, infrastructure, and agriculture. Policy issues around broadband, rural childcare, especially Medicaid expansion, and improved infrastructure are critical for rural prosperity. As I've mentioned, there's a lot of issues we could focus on, and many of these areas do intersect. But based on what we heard in each region, there are priorities that we set and hope to accomplish. To build on the work that started with last year's tour, we want to make sure that this year's tour focuses on listening and action, meaning we will dive deeper into the priorities we set from the discussions last year. We heard you, and now we want to use this time to have Melissa, Ryan, Kayla, and Josh describe this work further and provide examples on why this work is important to your community. This year, we're continuing to have issue-specific discussions in addition to these large public meetings. Since our tour kicked off 3 weeks ago, we've met with stakeholders in North Central Kansas about affordable housing and rental options, a community's ability to recruit and retain a workforce, a thriving workforce. We've met with leaders working to address the mental health crisis in Northwest Kansas, and we learned about Rural and Remote, an initiative designed to bring rural citizens to high-paying remote jobs. This was a growth industry before COVID, and now it's needed even more. This week, I presented at the Kansas Growth Ag Summit along with state agency leaders, met with the Water Office and leaders across the state to discuss solutions for water quality and quantity issues, and heard from the Kansas Animators Network, an energetic group of community leaders working towards asset-based approach to community development. We plan to have several more of these focused discussions over the next several weeks, and we'll take your feedback during registration as well as comments from this session. By hearing directly from Kansans overcoming complex challenges every day, we can work together to find solutions, not just for one community, but all communities across the state. Before we move to our first presenter, I did want to mention that I know not everyone can access virtual meetings like this due to the lack of broadband. Estimates that 20% of Kansans don't have access, and many more do not have adequate download speeds. This is one reason why we have made this our signature policy issue and are working on a comprehensive broadband plan to connect all Kansans. This administration will continue to advocate for broadband so that everyone in Kansas can communicate, do business, and access services throughout our state. That being said, your health and safety are our priority, and the risks of COVID-19 are too high to replicate last year's tour. We have work to do, and I appreciate your adaptability and understanding.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for providing that overview. We're going to go dive right into your first presentation. Melissa, can you share more information about what the state is doing around childcare and early education?
Thank you, Jillian, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for inviting me to join you on your 2020 action tour. I very much appreciate it. The Children's Cabinet has spent the last year and a half partnered with the Department of Children and Families, the Department of Health and Environment, and the Department of Education here in Kansas to work on a comprehensive statewide needs assessment that we conducted last summer. We did a listening tour of our own, visiting 53 communities and holding public sessions. We did surveys, we gathered existing reports, we did a variety of different methods of gathering feedback, and our report is now published and available on the Children's Cabinet website. The findings in the report are not necessarily surprising, but they are well documented. So we've put data behind what we have assumed for some time. The two central messages that we found are that the experiences of families trying to raise young children in Kansas are shaped by where they live. And where we have the usual assumptions about the difference between raising a family in a rural community versus raising a a child in a populated city center. We found that even in rural communities, in communities all across Kansas, where you live in your community affects your ability to access the services your children might need. And number two, we documented that too many young children in Kansas are growing up in families where their very most basic needs are not being met. Families are struggling with housing, transportation, food insecurity, job insecurity, and healthcare access issues. So we divided our findings into the categories that you see on the right of the screen. Accessibility and availability of services. Are there enough slots in programs, and can families connect to them? Navigating the system, how families move from one program to another and connect to the services they need. How do programs help with the transitions? There are lots of questions around navigation that we discovered need answers. Collaboration refers to the programs that provide services. There is a deep desire to be more collaborative, but the competition for finite financial resources often gets in the way of that, and we have some work to do. And we have a wealth of workforce issues affecting communities large and small. When I say workforce, I mean our early childhood care and education system workforce. We need to improve wages. We need to improve the number of people entering the profession, and we need to support our workforce with professional development opportunities along the way. Facilities are a source of need. We need more of them. We need more modern materials and environments for our children. And then systems alignment really speaks to the work at the state agency level. And that is part of the collaboration that we have been engaged in, is working in a very intentional way to make our systems internally work better with each other. We also found bright spots all across the state. We felt it significant enough that we wanted to include that section in our needs assessment to remember that Kansans really are innovative and creative in terms of problem solving. And this is an area that gains a lot of support across the state. Next slide, Julian. So we turned the needs assessment into a 5-year strategic plan for early childhood in Kansas with the very simple vision that we want every Kansas child to thrive. The report is online. It's divided along a similar set of topics as our needs assessments. What I would encourage you to pay attention to when you take a look at that plan is that each of the goal sections is divided into 2 or 3 strategies that we think will help us achieve that goal, and the tactics that it will take to move the needle. The tactics are labeled with the symbols you see on the right of your screen to indicate where we think the work resides. And there are certain tactics have multiple partners that we've identified. So I encourage people to take a look and identify the things that communities can be doing for themselves without state intervention, that work that can start now. Next slide. One of the tools that we utilized last year and have actually turned to again this year in the face of the COVID-19 public health emergency is a tool we call Our Tomorrows. The map that you see on the right is the current story collection effort that's underway to listen to Kansans' experiences dealing with the pandemic. And to date, we have 63 counties where we have received input from everyday Kansans. Last year, we succeeded in making it 105 counties. So we really were able to take in input from families and people all across the state about what it's like to raise their children in Kansas. The prompt we're asking this year is, tell us something about that has happened in the last week that has affected your family's ability to take care of your kids. And we have had a wealth of stories, as you can imagine, relating to COVID-19 and the disruptions that has caused. The stories, the point of this is to help us understand the impact of the policies that we make inside the government at the agency or the legislative level. The stories provide context and perspective to show us the way to change our actions and make adjustments that will help improve the experiences families are having. So we have used this tool in a variety of ways. We've taken input, we've listened very carefully, and we've turned it into action. So we have been responsive. Can you advance the slides, please? All of that listening included other channels. So we continue to hold a bi-weekly webinar that is available. If you miss the Wednesday noon webinar every other week, you can catch up on episodes. We post them on our Children's Cabinet webpage. We use those webinars as a two-way feedback loop so that we are sharing information, but also taking in questions and concerns, and we share those with appropriate state agencies when necessary, and help make sure people are getting their questions answered in as close to real time as we can. We have a wealth of resources on the Children's Cabinet webpage, including a share form that allows people to just reach out when a thought occurs and they want to share it with any of our state agency partners. They can go through the share form and share their thoughts. And of course, the Our Tomorrow story collecting effort. Our Tomorrow's story bank has turned into, on 2 occasions, what we call Child Care Action Labs. We've offered mini grant opportunities. We did a fall action lab that was something of a pilot, and then it allowed us to really spring into action in March when the shutdown occurred, and we were able to respond with mini grants in April that we were able to put into the field long before the rest of the programs were up and running at the state agency level. So it was a way of providing gap funding for childcare providers in the state. Currently, the Hero Relief Program at the Department of Children and Families is the hub of all the resources available with the CARES Act funding that they have received, and we continue to use weekly email updates and other tools, social media and other tools to share information. Next slide. So the CARES Act is, there's a state share of funding separate from what the state agencies received. As far as round 2, which was the county level support, our ask has been that counties include childcare voices in their local task force teams, and we encourage providers to reach out to their counties so that the needs of the childcare system are in the conversations being had about how those funds can best be sent. And then there's round well, actually that was round 1. Round 2 is the state level support that the Spark Committee is looking into. We are really excited about some announcements coming up in the coming week about 3 new funds that will be available to provide some rapid response to folks related to the early childhood system. Next slide. So what are our next steps? What we have been able to do is leverage a federal grant called the Preschool Development Grant Birth to 5. The needs assessment and strategic plan were part of a 1-year grant to do some planning, and then we were chosen for a 3-year renewal. So for the next 3 years, we'll receive $8.9 million a year in federal funding, subject to congressional appropriation, of course. And we will be using that to build out the infrastructure that we've identified as necessary to align and streamline the early childhood system, the care and education system, so that we can deliver services across a wide range of topics, from health and development to education and childcare to social services that families need. And we are really excited about the opportunity that these grant funds allow for us to really reimagine what normal looks like. So, right, we've had this massive disruption from the public health emergency, but we have some financial resources and we have a plan. So it will allow us to use this time as an opportunity to be transformational in our thinking. To that end, in September, the Cabinet will be announcing a pilot program of a common grant application mechanism, because we heard rural voices tell us that in smaller communities with a smaller population, fewer kids in their care, they still have the same level of needs, but need help applying for grants. So there will be some community sub-grants that will help with quality control and innovative experiences at the local level. Next slide. And there we go. So I will take questions at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you for everything that you do around childcare and early education. We will do questions for Melissa at the end of the presentation. We are going to hand over to Ryan to talk about the KHRC's work and improving housing accessibility around the state.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity to share the good news and the good work that Kansas Housing is doing throughout the state. Because truly, home has never been more important. We all know that home is a place for shelter. Home is a place that's just absolutely vital to healthy families, to healthy neighborhoods, to healthy communities. But right now, during this time of COVID, home has become so much more vital. It's truly the hub for so many things. It's where we get our health care right now. It's where we participate in schooling. It's where we buy stuff, where we participate in commerce. It's where we participate in community events like these. So home is just absolutely integral to everything that we do. And our mission at Kansas Housing has never been more important. My thanks to the governor, to the lieutenant governor, to the Office of Rural Prosperity for this opportunity, but particular thanks to all of those participating and just taking time out of a weekend to learn about the good things happening across our state. I'm going to touch base on a lot of different things. I realize a lot of people aren't familiar with Kansas Housing Resources Corporation, so I'm going to quickly talk about us. I'm going to spend most of the time giving some specific examples from our programs and our reach across the state. And then I'm going to end with some kind of a case study and some resources and next steps for you as community members to take away from this presentation. A quick overview about Kansas Housing itself. We are a self-supporting nonprofit public corporation. We formerly were known as the Department of Commerce and Housing, but our mission is simple. We help Kansans access the safe, affordable housing they need with the dignity they deserve. So who do we work with? Well, we work with you, local government officials, community members, bankers, business leaders, developers, realtors, property managers, nonprofits. You all are stakeholders of the work that we do at Kansas Housing. Next slide, please. As far as just the programs that we administer themselves, they run the gamut. They run from emergency housing, literally providing a shelter for people that don't have a shelter over them, clear to housing development throughout the state. We do home ownership, we do weatherization, and we have a strong compliance department as well. Before I jump into the specific programs, I did want to make sure that I share that each of these programs that I talk about have a link embedded in our presentation, which will be available later on the ORP website. I'd encourage you to click on those links, find out about the programs, see the different community partners that we are talking about in your area. Next slide, please. So KHRC administers a number of community solutions programs. These include an emergency solutions grant program, which provides grants to service providers around the state. So if you or someone you love are experiencing homelessness right now, or due to COVID or the economic situation or at risk of becoming homeless, I'd highly encourage you to reach out to our emergency solutions grant providers in your area. Again, click on that link and you can find out who they are. In addition to our traditional program right now, we have a significant amount of CARES Act funding that's being run through this network. So this resource is available to assist. Meanwhile, we have a community services block grant program, which funds community action agencies. A number of you may be familiar with community action agencies as administering the Head Start programs in your communities, but they do so much more. They serve low-income communities and they empower low-income families. They provide food services, they provide transportation, they provide housing assistance, and so much more. Again, click on the link and find out who your CSBG administrator is in your area. Continuing on, we administer a tenant-based rental assistance program. This resource has never been more vital. And right now, we have service providers throughout the state ready to assist with rent and security and utility deposit assistance, whether it's COVID related or not. Next slide, please. Continuing on, KHRC has a number of housing development programs, which I could spend an hour talking about, but instead what I'm going to do is just summarize that we develop multifamily housing throughout virtually every community in Kansas. Last year alone, we awarded 22 projects with 1,400 housing units just through these different programs you see listed. One of the things I want to point out is that our tax credit program, our biggest housing development program in the state, is going through a substantial change right now. Our qualified allocation plan is on our website. We're trying to do everything we can to ensure that we are targeting and hitting the most underserved counties that may be more challenging to develop, particularly rural communities. So I'd encourage you to find out more by clicking on the qualified allocation plan. We've got a public hearing on that plan. I believe it's September 1st, but information is on our website. Next slide, please. Just a couple of examples of the beautiful developments that we are developing in your communities. Here's the historic Lee Lofts building. It's a family housing development that is part of the downtown Salina redevelopment. It was financed through our tax credit and home programs. It's actually where Lee Jeans started. There's literally blue dye that's been stained over the years of the company manufacturing Lee Jeans. So it's a wonderful example of how housing investment can be a catalyst for your community. We can help restore historic properties. We can help revitalize your downtowns. Housing is so much bigger than just the home it's creating, which is vital in itself. Next slide, please. Another beautiful example of a development that we did. This is in Hutchinson. It was placed into service in January of last year. This particular new construction development is for seniors and persons with disabilities, which are two very important audiences and communities that we really do our best to serve throughout the state. Next slide, please. This is a picture of a development that we did in Ulysses. I believe this particular one was financed through our housing tax credit program, but we also put some moderate income housing program funds in this property. I believe I've got a slide here following this that will talk about MIH, so I'll just go ahead and advance to that one, please. Next slide, please. Yes, here's the moderate income housing program. This is our only state-funded program. It's $2 million a year from the state legislature, which we're very thankful for, but it never goes far enough. There's a lot of need out there. But through this program, we give grants to cities and counties to develop housing. It can be used for infrastructure. It can be used for housing construction. It can be used for rehab, for demo, whatever the unique local needs are. This program is there to serve. We actually have a the RFP, I'm sorry, for the moderate income housing program is posted right now. We'd encourage you to reach out to your community representatives to ensure they're aware of this resource. Next slide, please. Here's a picture of a development that we financed through Dodge City, through the moderate income housing program. This specific development is in Dodge City, which has gotten 14 MIH units developed. This duplex was actually built in partnership with Dodge City Community College by building trade students. And I think it's wonderful to highlight those types of opportunities that not only do we provide financing, but we provide education for people to, so that we have a future workforce that is competent and skilled to be able to develop, which is so vital in rural communities. Next slide, please. KHRC administers a first-time homebuyer program, which has we have a network of participating lenders throughout the state. We provide forgivable loans for lower income first-time homebuyers. Encourage you to check out that link. Lastly, I always wanted to touch on that we do have a compliance department at KHRC that's about half of our staff. We know that we're stewards of government funds and we take that charge seriously. We've got 722 properties around the state that we currently monitor to ensure that they're built well, that they're maintained well, and that they are serving those that the funds are intended to serve. Next slide, please. I want to make sure I bring up that our housing conference is this coming week. We have almost 700 people registered. It's a record attendance. It's free, it's virtual. You can do it from the comfort of your office or your home. There's everything from sessions on housing needs and resources to how to handle housing administration during their pandemic. There's great speakers. I'd encourage you to register for that conference. Next slide, please. Wanted to make sure I gave a little case study of how ideally these type of things work for small communities to address their housing needs. The community of Norton, a very small, maybe 5,000 population, worked with our office over the last year. They met with us to begin with. They did some research. They held community meetings. They looked at what their local needs were. They identified their resources. They identified their partners. They developed an action plan, and in partnership with our office, they were able to successfully address some of their housing needs. So kudos to the city of Norton. Next slide, please. As I wrap up, just a couple takeaways. Again, a reminder that our MIH application is posted. There's contact information for that. I'd encourage you to subscribe to our email list and attend the housing conference next week. I'm happy to field questions following the presentations. Thank you, Jillian.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you again, everything that you do for housing across the state and especially in our rural areas. We are going to turn over to Kayla. Will you share more about the Community Development Division's work in the Department of Commerce?
Good afternoon, Jillian, and everyone on the call today. Thank you for welcoming me here. My name is Kayla Savage, and I'm the Community Development Division Director with Community Development in the Kansas Department of Commerce. Slide. So a little bit about the Community Development Division. As Lieutenant Governor Rogers mentioned, the Community Development Division was actually restored and reestablished in the Department of Commerce thanks to the Kelly Rogers administration, and we are very glad to be here to serve our Kansas communities well. The Community Development Division includes a number of programs that are focused on providing resources to our Kansas communities, including downtown revitalization, enhancing arts and cultural opportunities, enhanced financial stability or individual financial stability, and the development of broadband. These technical and financial resources are essential to helping our communities thrive. Next slide, please. So Kansas Main Street is back, and we are so glad to be back again, thanks to the administration. Kansas Main Street provides access to resources, technical assistance, networking, and advocacy through the National Main Street Center. We had a long storied history in the Department of Commerce for a number of years until about 2012, when previous administration cut it back. But we are really glad to be back and be providing these resources to our communities. So Main Street is more than just having a pretty downtown. It is a comprehensive self-help process that works in communities of all sizes and economic conditions. The focused Main Street approach is an intersection of community engagement and economic development. The Main Street 4-point approach is highly effective in communities that are fully invested with their time, talent, and their money. Designated Main Street communities have seen millions of dollars in private investment in property in their downtown district, only to be closely matched by the volunteer hours spent serving on committees and community events through Main Street. And just so you know, even though we have 25 designated Main Street communities throughout the state, there is no one Main Street city quite like the next. So if you're interested in finding out what it's all about, what it takes to become a Main Street community, we will be hosting an application workshop for new Main Street communities interested in applying this fall. So look for more information on that. You can also follow Kansas Main Street on Facebook and find more information at kansascommerce.gov. Next slide, please, Jillian. So here is a map of our Main Street communities and also our Pride communities throughout the state of Kansas. Department of Commerce has a strong relationship with Pride, and we're glad to have both of these very effective programs alive and well in our state. Next slide, please. One of the programs in community development is community development block grants, and these have been administered through the Department of Commerce since the 1980s for communities of 50,000 or less. Funding is available through the federal HUD program, and our annual competition for housing, water and sewer, and community facilities is coming up soon. And that's actually, that information with deadlines and the website is included in the action packet that Jillian will be sharing. New announcement though for this year, we are excited to offer all of our applications available online so that can be streamlined for the grant applicants. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, CDBG is a program that makes awards in water, sewer, community facilities, and housing. There were 39 total awards, totaling $17.4 million in FY20 across the state. Next slide, please. For today, I have shared just a small sampling of these 39 different awards that were made. And as you can see, they're broken up into the regions throughout the state. But you can see that they vary greatly in the awards and the projects, everything from water system improvements to community centers and libraries. Again, these are generally very expensive infrastructure or community investments to be made that with the CDBG funding allows communities to be able to afford these. Also to know that there is always a matching requirement for the community. So the community does also have skin in the game. These are grant dollars that are also then matched by the community. So there is a sampling of the different program or different projects that have been funded through the state through the Community Development Block Grant Program. Next slide, please. Also, another very impactful community development program is the Community Service Tax Credit Program. So this is very, very impactful because it enhances the impact of major capital fundraising for Kansas nonprofits, allowing up to a 70% tax credit in rural areas with a population of 15,000 or less. The tax credits that are awarded, they're actually awarded to the organization and then in turn made available to the donors of the nonprofit. For example, a donor who gives a donation of $100 would then be given a $70 tax credit. So it just enables those nonprofits who are doing those fundraising efforts to make their dollars go farther and get more donations. This year, $1 million of the $4.1 million that was allotted for those tax credits was actually allotted specifically for child care centers, as they are very vital to enabling our Kansas families to raise their children in safe and up-to-date facilities where they choose to live, which Melissa also highlighted during her presentation. This year, a total of 25 projects were awarded tax credits this year, and 13 of the projects were awarded in communities of 15,000 or more, and 12 of the projects were awarded in communities of 15,000 or less. So it was a nice even amount for both our rural communities and our larger communities as well. Next slide, please. So here is a sampling of, I mentioned that there were 25 projects that were awarded this year. This is just a small sampling of the CSP awardees. So you can see everything from a community theater upgrade or restoration to the 3 different child care facilities, and also a new investment being made in a diesel technology facility as well. So again, these are projects that are driven by the communities, by those nonprofits, and it just enables their dollars to go farther. We could always use more additional funding for that program. We are incredibly grateful for the $4.1 million that we do receive, and of course our requests always far outweigh what we actually have to award. Next slide, please. So our COVID response, we had CDBG-CV monies, phase 1 and phase 2. Those were, it was about $16.9 million. The funds went throughout the state of Kansas. We had 2 different funding mechanisms, economic development and then also meal programs to help those small businesses and also that essential need of food, and food pantries and meal programs that were serving youth and their families. We additionally had local revolving loan funds through CDBG that were already out in our communities, and in March, Secretary Toland encouraged communities to get those dollars out. So the regulations were actually relaxed, allowing communities to even grant their funds out. And since March, that actually resulted in over $3 million additionally being reinvested in those Kansas communities. Next slide, please. This is a map to show you where CDBG-CV funding actually was awarded. So a good representation from across the state. The light blue represents a county that received funding, and the gold box is also then when a city received funding as well. And again, that was phase 1 and phase 2 of CDBG-CV. Next slide, please. And Jillian, is this where you would like me to talk about the back to business with the COVID relief as well?
Sure, if you want to go ahead and kind of give a quick overview and talk about the portal.
Yep, that's great. So Department of Commerce is very appreciative to have the opportunity to make 10 grants in economic development and connectivity, totaling approximately $130 million available to our Kansas businesses, organizations, and communities through the Recovery Office and the SMART committees. That website address is kansascommerce.gov/COVID relief. The page appears as a back to business, and the 10 grant programs are listed there on our portal. We did open the application portal on August 13th in order to allow businesses and organizations about a week to review the different programs and eligibility and the requirements that we were asking for. And then our applications actually went live Wednesday at noon, and the response was incredible. We had more than 5,000 applications that were received within the first 48 hours. So we want to give a lot of appreciation for all of our partners, including ORP and other state agencies and our economic development groups who got the word out there to the businesses who needed that help. We did have one small hiccup, but the application was fixed within 10 minutes by our team. Speaking of our team, I wanted everyone on this call to know that our Commerce Chat feature does have extended hours so that we are there to be responsive to any questions that anybody might have from communities or businesses. That is open on the Commerce website from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and also Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that is staffed, and we are being very responsive to those needs and those questions. Questions can also be emailed to backtobusiness@ks.gov, and we will respond within 24 hours. Just a quick highlight, I want to make sure that everyone knows most of those grants are going to be on a rolling basis. We're accepting applications on a rolling basis, and we'll begin those reviews soon. But the broadband application for infrastructure, the Community Emergency Response Grant, or SURGE, that grant program is actually open until this Thursday, August 27th at 2 p.m. So anyone who is planning to actually apply for that grant program has until this Thursday to get their application in, and then that will be a competitive application review. So I think that's it. Just one more mention, the website again, kansascommerce.gov/COVID relief. I don't know if somebody wants to drop that in the chat, or I can do that as well.
All right, thank you, Kayla. Josh, do you want to go ahead and talk about ORP policy priorities?
Yes, thank you. So to go ahead and review, some of our policy priorities include childcare, housing, workforce, rural healthcare, infrastructure, and broadband. These were all discussed during last year's tour by Kansans that we met with, and many of you cited them again this year in the pre-registration surveys that we took before this event. While this pandemic has shown a spotlight on the gaps in our state in some of these areas, it has also highlighted many opportunities. As Kayla just mentioned, that you can see some of those on the Commerce's website. We can't get through all of these today, but we wanted to discuss a few more of these issues that you've identified. And go ahead, next slide. The first one would be with regard to workforce. This has been an issue that continues to be an issue with the pandemic. And we've heard from many regions throughout the state about the need for skilled workers in different areas. And, you know, when we talk about our priorities, if we're talking about childcare, housing, and rural healthcare in particular, all of those issues have issues that touch on their need for workforce. But workforce is also needed in other areas as well. While there are challenges in this area, there's also opportunities in this area that have been demonstrated by the pandemic. The SPARK Task Force approved funding in this area as well. They wanted to help Kansans develop new IT skills and advanced manufacturing skills so that they could gain better jobs and help our employers who need workers in those areas. They also approved more funding to help match employers with employees with the skills they need. And we also wanted to help through this encourage remote work itself so that more Kansans can live and work wherever they choose. One other issue that we want to highlight with regard to workforce, we are proud to collaborate with the Kansas Sampler Foundation and Marcy Pinner on a project that is seeking to identify, engage, and empower young rural professionals with the resources they need. We look forward to the work that Marcy is doing so that we can have a better idea of how we can help rural young professionals thrive and build their life and their sense of community right where they live. As Kayla mentioned, more information about the workforce program can be found at the Kansas Commerce website, and more information about the Kansas Sampler Foundation Rural Young Professionals Program can be found at kansassampler.org. The next issue that I'd like to talk about on the next slide is rural healthcare. So this is another issue that continues to affect rural areas. And one of the ways in which we can make a huge difference is with regard to Medicaid expansion. As many of you know, Missouri joined Oklahoma this year in being some of the most recent states to expand Medicaid. In both of those states, they have the ability to put the vote to the people, and their people chose to expand Medicaid. While we don't have that ability here, it's up to our legislature. We are going to continue to push for this so that all of the people, especially those who have lost their job through no fault of their own during this pandemic, can have access to health care. Estimates are that as many as 150,000 Kansans could benefit from Medicaid expansion. And that not only helps those Kansans, but it also helps the hospitals, especially in rural areas that are providing services for free in many cases. It also helps if people are able to access healthcare when they need it, so that they and the state and their hospital can avoid larger costs. Then another issue with regard to rural healthcare is trying to help local hospitals who need a different payment model. This is something that Lieutenant Governor Lynn Rogers and Governor Kelly have been working for and advocating for with our federal delegation and the administration in DC to help ensure that hospitals in rural areas can provide the services that they need to provide and right size their hospitals and their services for the community that they serve. Recently, the administration did announce a new project in this area, and we're still working through the details, but we will continue to advocate for those services that these rural communities need the most. And one way to do that is through telemedicine and telehealth. This is something that the pandemic has highlighted the need for like never before. And as a result, Medicare, Medicaid, and some private insurers have expanded the types of services that Kansans can receive via telehealth and telemedicine. While these changes have been great during the pandemic, as everyone knows, rural areas could use these services whether there's a pandemic or not. And we are going to continue to try to work on pushing for providing those services that can be provided in this manner. And part of that also goes to the point of expanding connectivity through rural areas as well. Obviously, even if an insurer provides that option, if you cannot access it over your home internet, then it is not as valuable to you. On the next slide, another issue that is very important throughout the entire state is infrastructure. And one of the last things that the legislature and the governor did before regular session this year was shut down early due to COVID, was pass another 10-year transportation plan for our state. This year, it is called the Eisenhower Legacy Transportation Program, or IKE, and it really does build on the legacy that President Eisenhower showed with his leadership and vision in creating the interstate highway system. It also builds on the legacy that our state has in providing for long-term infrastructure investments in our state. We have had 10-year highway plans or transportation plans in our state for many decades, and we are proud to build on that legacy. Some of the features of the IKE program that set it apart is that it's a rolling program. So every 2 years, additional projects will be identified and approved. It's really focused on making right-sized practical investments for every community and working with those communities to find out what kinds of projects work best in their communities. It encourages partnerships with local communities, and I'll talk about a couple of those programs later. But some of the other programs that are include multimodal transportation with public transit, aviation, which is also important to many rural communities, short line rail, which is very important in agriculture, and bike and pedestrian programs, and of course, connectivity investments, which I will also talk about further. On the next slide, it shows all of the cost share program awardees for 2019 and 2020. As you can see, these investments have been shared throughout the state. And as many of you know, there are these often, and the local bridge program on the next slide are often programs that every community has just been, they know that they need to do it, they want to do it, and they just need a little bit of help. And so both of these programs seek to leverage the local ingenuity and buy-in to be able to help these communities move forward on some of these projects. And as you can see, local bridge program has also spread resources throughout the state and really helped these communities move forward. On the next slide, one of the programs that was included in the IKE bill is a broadband grant program. And first, for a little history, broadband's been something that we've discussed in Kansas for a long time, but had never put any funding for it until the Kelly Rogers administration put money for a 10-year broadband grant program in the 10-year transportation program called IKE. This was building on the work of the broadband task force that was formed in 2018. One of the first things that they did was to work on a map, which you can see on the background of this slide. I would be remiss if I did not mention that any map is going to have its flaws. And this is certainly a map that is maybe kind of shows some areas that we need support, but there are also many other areas in the state that could benefit from broadband that may show that they have broadband access in that region, but actually we still have some work to do. On the next slide, it discusses some of the principles of the administration. We would like applications to be able to demonstrate community support, that these grants will be open to public, private, nonprofit providers that can demonstrate their ability to deliver results. They will be technology neutral, but they will need to be scalable so that we want to ensure that whatever investments are made are going to serve the state long term. And also, they need to demonstrate how they will benefit their community. With the IKE funding specifically, there is a 50% matching requirement. It's a little bit different with the Spark Task Force funds that were approved. But this is all intended to make these investments go as far as possible and to get buy-in from local communities. On the next slide, it just discusses some of the priorities that were identified by the Spark Task Force. None of these are a surprise to anyone. It includes telehealth, telemedicine, broadband access for rural underserved areas, increasing access for continuous and distance learning, and really big picture, eventually we would really like to focus on how we can provide affordable quality broadband for every Kansan. As Kayla mentioned, more information about that is available on the Commerce website, and we hope as many people will apply as possible, and we will continue to work with the state and federal government to leverage as much funding as we can for broadband in the state of Kansas so that everyone can have access no matter where they live. And with that, I think that is the end of my presentation.
All right, thank you, Joshua. And thank you all for your presentations and being here today. It looks like people were a little shy today. So far, there's only one question that came in from the audience. And it says, how do you help students who suffered from financial difficulties because of COVID? So I think, Kayla, I wonder if it was directed to you, and maybe talk about Commerce, if there are any grants or anything that you guys are working on specifically to students. I would assume this maybe for college students.
Yeah, hi, let me get myself unmuted here. So specifically for college students, we have not necessarily had any specific programs for college students. Our CDBG-CV funds were focused on businesses and communities, both cities and counties, to supply those funds to their local businesses so that they could get back open and reopen safely. The one area that college students would have benefited from or could benefit from still, though, that would have been supported by the CDBG-CV funds was the food pantries or meal programs. So if a student lives in a community, either a county or a city that did receive meal program assistance, that would have been specifically one area that students could have benefited from for sure.
Thank you.
If I could jump in, I would just say one of the other programs in the connectivity funding that was approved by Spark is a provider partnership program that does help certainly provide access to more students who may be low income and just cannot receive access without that financial support. And they're working with connectivity providers throughout the state to help deliver that to more Kansas families and students.
Well, thank you guys. Melissa, there was a question in a previous meeting that in our last meeting last week that was really interesting. It was about helping K through 12 schools set up a childcare center on campus and use students to help staff those while gaining small business and early childhood education experience. Can you talk a little bit more about this? Do you see that or programs like that at community colleges or other education facilities and a possible model for rural Kansas communities?
Thanks, Jillian. That's a really important question, and we are really proud of the Lakin School District for the work they did to get their program up and running to offer their staff reliable in-house childcare. They are partnering the delivery of that care with a career and tech ed program for their high school students. They are not the first school district in the state to do that. The Wichita School District has been operating their CTE program alongside and partnered with a childcare program the district runs. We see other models emerging as a response to the current situation with our schools. I know here in the Johnson County area, the area YMCAs and the Johnson County Parks and Recreation Department are teamed up with some of the local school districts to also offer, Shawnee Mission is the most recent example, a childcare program that is designed to help staff have reliable childcare for those times when school is in the hybrid mode or all remote learning. So we see a variety of ways, and KDHE has been a really good partner in helping navigate the licensing issues and deal with that. So it's on our radar. We want to help scale and spread good ideas and best practices so that we can help communities meet the needs that COVID and other challenges have created.
So I think a couple more questions came in, but I do think that we need to transition to our next section. We will make sure that these are answered maybe through text and afterwards. But we do in transition to another portion of our meeting. And for that, we have a special guest from Kansas Farm Bureau, Richard Feltz. Rich is a farmer from Montgomery County and was elected president of Kansas Farm Bureau in 2014. For those of you who are not familiar with Kansas Farm Bureau, they are a nonprofit advocacy organization whose mission is to strengthen agriculture in the lives of Kansas through advocacy, education, and service. So thank you, Rich, for joining us today, and I'll hand over to you.
Okay, thank you, Julian, and appreciate for allowing Kansas Farm Bureau to have the opportunity to participate today in our prosperity mission. But we truly appreciate the attention that Governor Kelly and Lieutenant Governor Rogers have taken to acknowledge the rural issues with the creation of the Office of Rural Prosperity. And I think it's only appropriate from our vantage point of the differences that we have across our state. All we have to do is look at the population of counties and the disparity that we have there. And there's reasons for that, but how we address that. Has been mentioned earlier, education and the challenges that we have and the needs that we have for education in some of the smallest school districts compared to some of the largest school districts. And then there's no question the infrastructure needs in a Johnson County are completely different than they are in Johnson, Kansas. So we have to be able to address that, and we feel like that this is a good initiative through Rural Prosperity to do that. And Julian, you mentioned in our mission statement, and I want to just point out the similarity that we feel like we have between our organization and Rural Prosperity is when we talk about strengthening agriculture in the lives of Kansans and how that obviously parallels with the mission of Rural Prosperity. And personally, I want to thank the governor that she took a day from her schedule last fall and came to our little community here in central Montgomery County. We had the opportunity to have a great exchange for her about our small rural community, and also the opportunity for her to see firsthand what some new innovative agricultural equipment that she had the opportunity to drive, but she chose not to that day, but also to see what we're doing in the world in production agriculture about genetic technology and how we can advance production through our genetic work. But I think one thing that is important, though, that we all know that agriculture is a leading economic driver of the state of Kansas. But the fabric of agricultural communities goes a whole lot farther than just crop and livestock production. It's the infrastructure that goes with it. We know that we have to have these small communities around the state to support agriculture, and conversely, production agriculture has to have those communities to go with it. I want to talk about and most of these have already been mentioned here, but when we talk about infrastructure, schools, no question, these small communities have to have an adequate education resource. Road and bridges. So many times, instead of talking about a bypass on a freeway, we're talking about updating a bridge to accommodate new innovative agriculture and the size that it is. Broadband. We've talked about broadband in many different ways, and we're proud of the work that we've done at Kansas Farm Bureau to do everything we can to enhance getting broadband across the state. We've worked with the FCC, we've been on the task force, continue to have some efforts to work with the Sparks group as well. But agricultural technology is dependent upon broadband, along with education and the pandemic that we're in, the need that we have for that, and telemedicine. And I just have to relate firsthand a conversation I had this week with a young lady that was a PA, and when we talked about telemedicine, to her, telemedicine was a call with her doctor on the telephone. So in this day and age, that's not adequate. Housing, as we've seen a lot of these rural communities, the housing is inadequate. It's become well-aged and no development there. So all the housing programs that we can have are going to be very much appreciated. And one area that hasn't been mentioned, and that is to create revenue, we need trade. And we're very appreciative of the work that our governor has done to do what they can to enhance international trade. So with that, though, we look forward to working with the governor and administration to make sure that Kansans are actively participating and they're making their community strive. And with that, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the governor of the state of Kansas, the Honorable Laura Kelly.
Well, thanks very much, Rich. And there's a good reason that I didn't drive that equipment down in Montgomery County. It's the only reason you're still able to use it today. So I can barely maneuver a full-size SUV, much less something the size of that. So I'm delighted to be here today, and I want to thank you all for joining me and Lieutenant Governor Rogers and our other stakeholders for today's virtual listening session. My administration couldn't have a better partner than the Kansas Farm Bureau and the work you do to support and strengthen our state's agricultural sector. I'm pleased to be here with you this afternoon, albeit virtually, to hear from you directly about the unique challenges facing rural communities. When I was running for governor, I traveled across Kansas, and one of the most frequent criticisms I heard from Republicans and Democrats alike is that they didn't feel heard or represented in Topeka. Kansans in our rural communities told me that they believed the issues affecting them were mostly ignored in the State House. That's why, as soon as I took office, I established the Office of Rural Prosperity and appointed Lieutenant Governor Rogers to spearhead the effort. Because all Kansans deserve to have their voice heard by those who are crafting the policies that affect them. In response to the feedback we've received, I directed members of my administration to find ways to empower rural communities and rebuild our state's foundation. We focused on key issues like education, healthcare, economic development, housing, and infrastructure, while recognizing that outcomes and success are defined differently in rural communities than in Lawrence or Wichita. For rural Kansans, we've fought to protect per pupil funding dollars that your school districts depend on to give your students the tools they need to succeed and to continue providing the world-class education Kansas is known for. We've rebuilt our economic development toolbox to make sure companies across the country and the world know there's no better place to find a hardworking and prepared workforce. Just this month, I announced 2 major economic projects in Salina, including a 400,000 square foot expansion for Schwann's manufacturing facility, which will create 225 new good jobs in the area. That's 225 opportunities to make sure our kids living in central Kansas area decide to stay instead of moving elsewhere to find a job and raise their families. We're still fighting for quality and affordable health care for over 150,000 Kansans by expanding Medicaid. And expansion isn't just about improving the health of rural Kansans, it's about protecting our small town hospitals and supporting business recruitment. I'll tell you what every CEO I've met with has told me: they will not move their business to a community that does not have a hospital to keep their employees and their families healthy. So we'll keep fighting for Medicaid expansion and working to improve health outcomes in communities across Kansas. My administration has also found ways to leverage state dollars to support projects unique to each of our rural communities through programs like the Rural Opportunity Zone. The Kansas Department of Commerce is working on an initiative that will allow RAS funding to be distributed based on what your town or county needs the most, like affordable housing or Main Street development. And finally, we're looking for ways to ensure that every single Kansan has access to quality broadband, a tool that powers everything from farming technology to distance learning to telemedicine. This year, we passed a bipartisan, comprehensive 10-year transportation plan that includes funding for broadband expansion and road improvements across the state that have been ignored for decades. This is a big deal because it's the first time we've dedicated state funding to help get more rural communities access to high-speed internet. Altogether, I know that we're on the right path, but if there's one reason we created the Office of Rural Prosperity, it was to hear from people like you. We need local partners to tell us what's working and what isn't. And so while Lieutenant Governor Rogers and I will continue working across the aisle to strengthen our communities, we need to keep hearing from you and your communities as we create legislation that's going to impact you, your children, and your grandchildren. Thank you again for joining us today. And if there are any, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you so much, Governor Kelly, for taking the time to join us today, this afternoon, and more importantly for your leadership, not only for ORP in rural Kansas, but for the state. We do have a few questions. So you talked about hospitals and the importance of that, but what are some other ways that we can recruit businesses to move to rural Kansas?
Well, you have to have the basic infrastructure in place for businesses to even consider locating in rural Kansas. And that's why we have put so much emphasis on restoring the comprehensive transportation plan, really working with our local communities. We created the cost share program, for instance, so that local communities can leverage their own dollars to build the infrastructure that they need to be able to attract business. Broadband is clearly long overdue. Any business, whether it's rural or urban, has to have access to the internet, high-speed access to the internet. Without it, there's absolutely no possibility of folks coming into an area to set up a business. So those are the two big ones. But I would also say the workforce is the other issue. All employers, when they're thinking about building or growing in an area, part of what will drive that will be, is there access to a qualified workforce that can do the job that needs to be done? So those are the kinds of things that we've been focused on very acutely to impact our economy overall, but it will have a specific impact on our rural communities.
Thank you, Governor. So I know that we're partnering with Marcy Penner and the Kansas Sampler Foundation, really focusing on recruiting, retaining, empowering, engaging young professionals. But I guess, could you talk about, what are your personal ideas about how to keep children in the communities they grew up in and making sure that they are starting families rather than moving out of their communities?
Well, I think I just mentioned in my remarks, people will move away if there are no jobs. So doing things like recruiting Schwans to expand very significantly in the Salina area is imperative if we are going to expect our young people in central Kansas to stay here to work. So having good jobs available for them is first and foremost. I think having good educational opportunities is also key. We need to make sure that they don't leave Kansas, when they graduate high school to go someplace else to receive their training, whether it's in a four-year institution or it's a technical school. We need to continue to provide the world-class education that we've been doing, but we need to update it. We need to recognize that kids need to be educated for today's jobs, not last year's or 10 years ago. So again, we'll get back to the high tech, the innovation, technology issues that will be imperative if we're going to keep our kids here. And and there's one other thing that I'd like to focus on that I think people don't think about that often when they think about keeping our kids here. But I think we're all aware that, when kids reach that college age or post-college, there's always this desire to leave behind where they're from and go to another place that's more exciting. So I think the other thing that we have really focused on in our administration is making sure that we are pushing forward progressive policies that are attractive to young people, that make them want to be part of a community. So we both are looking at it from an economic development, but also a perception. Why would I want to stay in Kansas? What has it got to offer me as a 25-year-old? What has it got to offer my kids?
Thank you. As somebody who is a native from Kansas, went to college here, did leave temporarily for my master's, but then came back and definitely have settled roots here. I do appreciate that response. Josh, did I miss anything? Is there another question, or did some of the panelists maybe have some questions while we have the governor here?
I'm looking here, and I think a lot of the questions have been addressed by some of our panel. I would say there have been a few questions here about how we can partner with community foundations, and also just some more questions about the broadband grant program. And finally, there is a question in the chat about helping rural Kansans who need at-home care for elderly, dementia, disabled people. Could the governor speak to some of the resources that we have available and some of the ways that we've tried to focus on helping those individuals in those communities?
Sure. I think there are two things we need in order to be able to help our older population stay at home and receive the care that they need in their home. One is a workforce to be able to actually go into the home and provide that care and service. So we have been working with our community colleges in particular, really trying to get them to focus on providing that kind of training and access. We also have to do something about the salaries for those folks because right now they don't get paid a lot. It's very hard work. And so we're looking at ways to maneuver the budget so that we are able to subsidize those kinds of positions. Then we get back again to technology. We are pushing very hard to get, the pandemic, if it's done one thing that'll be helpful in the future, is that it really has made us focus on telemedicine, the ability to provide healthcare services on the spot, rather than having people have to drive into an office or a clinic. That extends to home healthcare. Actually, there's been some of that going on for quite a few years in a number of areas, particularly down Southeast Kansas. But that's another area where we really need to expand and recognize that no matter what we do in trying to develop a workforce, there will always be a need for more. And there is a way that technology can substitute for some of that in-person kind of care. So again, we've got to get the broadband up and running, and then we've got to get access to that kind of equipment so that folks in our rural areas can stay at home, stay in their communities.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Josh, for posing that question. Again, Governor, thank you for your time today. Lieutenant Governor, do you have a few final words for us?
My pleasure. You all take care.
Yes, thank you, Governor Kelly and Rich, for joining us today. Thank you both for the leadership and for all that you do for our rural communities. The amount of work that we need to do to reinvest in Kansas and what we're doing with the ORP and broadband would not be possible without the leadership of Governor Kelly. We certainly have challenges ahead of us, and we know we're fortunate to have a governor who advocates for rural Kansas, who also, while balancing our budget, I know that she'll continue to work to keep Kansans healthy, keep Kansas open for business, and to continue rebuilding our state's foundation. Melissa, Ryan, and Kayla, thank you for everything that you and your agencies do for the state of Kansas. I appreciate your compassion and for your commitment to working to solve problems that Kansans have told us are some of the most important and challenging. As we do this work, it's important for state agencies and community stakeholders to continue to work together to tear down silos and create new solutions. I appreciate you taking this charge seriously. COVID has impacted all of us around, including ORP's work. Just like you, we've had to make adjustments. Our earlier plans for an in-person tour was something that we had to put on hold, and we'll continue to work on that as well. The priorities continue to be an important part of what we do. Childcare was an issue before COVID-19, but with center closures, the need for K-12 care, and enhancing protective measures, we know this has become even more of a challenge. The CARES Act will address some of this that's needed for support for childcare providers, and opportunities remain a high priority for the Kelly administration. We appreciate the Children's Cabinet for all the work they continue to do to look for ways to address these needs. Access to quality, affordable housing in every community is still a major need across the state, as Rich mentioned. Kansans have been observing stay-home orders and social distancing, so more than ever, everything that's happening at home will continue to advocate for rural housing and work for a housing study to better understand our state's needs, something that hasn't been done for 20 years. Rural communities and the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation have come up with some creative solutions, and we want to share some of those best practices across the state. Workforce needs are shifting. We have recognized this by making investments in the jobs of the future. And in addition to the IT certification program approved by the Spark Task Force, we're going to invest in new technology for community colleges and tech schools to continue to work on the skills that they need. The Kansas Works team has already had 3 virtual job fairs, and they continue to adapt their program to Kansans to find the right job for the right time. Access to high-speed internet for teleworking, for continuous learning, for telemedicine, it's needed across the state. This pandemic has proven that it's not a luxury, it's a utility. It's really the rural electrification of our generation. We must have it for communities to continue to work, learn, and access. We are just highlighting a few of the things that we believe Kansans deserve access to today. And as we look forward to continuing the work on advancing the priorities we discussed today, we'll work hard each and every day for rural Kansas. Before I wrap up, I do have a call of action for everyone listening. One of the most important activities to ensure your voice is heard in the State House and in Washington is filling out the 2020 census, especially in rural areas. The census impacts funding for everything we've talked about, and it also impacts ongoing issues like infrastructure and healthcare. It impacts COVID-19 response, distribution of PPE, and even your representation. Kansas' response rate was just at 68%. That means if we don't count everyone, we will lose over $2,000 per person per year over the next 10 years in federal funds. That means if 1% of our population is not counted, we lose over $6 billion. That's B with a billion. So please, if you haven't already, fill out your 2020 census and share the need with your family and your friends. The census recently announced they're cutting 30 days out. And so the deadline of October has been moved up now to September 31st. Nemaha, Marshall, McPherson, and Harvey all have response rates above the state average, but a lot of rural counties that are lagging far behind. And we currently have Johnson County leading the state, and I know rural Kansas can do better than them. We want everyone to reach 100%, and we posted a link to the census in the chat box. Based on the registration for this meeting, over a third of you were part of the 2019 tour. I very much appreciate you coming back to be part of the conversation, and for others who give us a chance to talk about our work. I hope next year we will have even more successes to share, and maybe we'll be able to be back on the road again. I can hardly wait. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again to all of our presenters and our stakeholders. We appreciate you providing your expertise this afternoon. Thank you everyone who joined us today, especially on a Saturday. We appreciate your feedback, your questions. Please continue to send those to ruralcan, K-A-N, prosper@ks.gov. In the chat box, you will see a link to a survey with a single question. And this survey and this question will give you the opportunity to tell us, ORP, or Lieutenant Governor, anything else you would like us to know. As well as a link to our Tomorrow Story Collection Database. This is the link that Melissa mentioned in her presentation, where we are partnering with the Children's Cabinet and the Center for Public Partnership and Research to capture experiences and perspectives of Kansans. So please take this opportunity to share your story. I encourage you to follow Lieutenant Governor on social media and visit the ORP website for updates and more information. Here you will also find the full 2019 tour report that goes into more detail our findings last year by region. And again, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.